Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. It's Chad from Green Acres. I'm off to the gas station to pick up my guy Jeff and get to work. We got my big HOA account today. The topic of the video, guys, at the end of the video, I'm going to briefly describe, my thoughts on the Kombi systems. I've got, extensive experience with both gas and battery Kombi systems. Right now I use a battery system, which is perfect for what I do. Personally, I think they're great for homeowners, and I'll give you my thoughts on each of them. What I think may make more sense for you, especially when it comes to using various attachments. I'll just say this: if you use a lot of attachments, especially like the weed eater head, the weed eater portion of the attachment, and maybe the edger, both of those use a lot of power. So if you like using both of those, you're better off probably using the gas. But we'll dive deep into the Kombi systems at the end of the video, but between now and then, I will get some footage sprinkled in there, and probably not a whole lot. I'm trying to make this video fairly short if I can, and I'm gonna ramble a little bit, to the next clip. But yeah, y'all, it's cool this morning, so that's great. It feels great outside. I got a little jacket on, actually. I think it's like 59 right now. I mean, it'll warm up pretty quick, but yeah, I've been really looking forward to this cold weather. I was mentioning the Ray in the video that Ray did yesterday, talking about getting ready to do other things other than mowing and leaf cleanups, using the Mini. Obviously, I got quite a bit of good jobs, that I can use the Mini for, the various attachments. So looking forward to getting to those, but we're still too busy. I mean, the grass actually kind of perked up with the rain we had, last week. We got about 3 inches of rain last week, 1.5 inches last Thursday night, 1.5 inches last Friday night. So the grass kind of perked up a little bit. The leaves are falling. I did a good bit of spraying yesterday. Sprayed about 5 or 6 yards. Still got a few more yards to spray, and I got to spray my big HOA account, and I'll officially be done with the first round of fall pre-emergence. So yeah, I was telling Ray, obviously I'm looking forward to that and the cooler weather, which is, again, it's cool this morning. But yeah, I want to bring up Ray's video yesterday. Ray does a great job of bringing up things that a lot of other guys really wouldn't think about. And the 9-month contract deal, now, I think Ray would agree that's not ideal. And, this is going to be a little bit riskier, right? As he explained in the video with the death of his customer, may that gentleman rest in peace. That's always sad. I've had quite a few over the last year or so that passed away, and it's never easy. And I think Ray said he really liked the guy that passed away. So yeah, Lord willing, he's in heaven right now. But either way, yeah, I've had the opportunity to do 9 months contracts. I've had these firms, I guess, from like out west and all over the country, I guess, that manage some of these gas stations around here. Some of the big name gas stations, I guess they're corporately owned or whatever, and there's quite a few of them in the area, and they'll call me and ask me about managing a certain number of gas stations in the area. And the kicker was they would only want to do 9-month contracts. And I told them I'd be up to doing 12, but I'm not going to do 9. But that was their sticker. That was their sticking point. They only want to do 9 months. And I just never felt like that was a good idea. I just never liked that. My thinking is, if you're going to enter into a contract, you definitely want to do a 12-month. And you want to try to, and this is the point I made to Ray, and I know Ray agrees with this. When you enter into one of those deals, and again, not many people are going to want to do it. I've only got a few residentials that do it, but they're really solid people, and I know they're going to pay me and all that kind of thing. And they're younger, they're not older people, that do it. But I think if you're going to enter into that style of contract, I think you want to do it and start it, if you can, in January, right? Because if you start in January and say somebody's paying $200 a month, for example, at least, you kind of eliminate the risk of something like what happened to Ray's customer if he passes away when he did, I guess, fairly recently in October or September. and someone moves away, that kind of thing. So yeah, if you can start it in the winter in January, when you're probably only going to come by maybe once, when you're only going to come by, say, once a month, which is typically what I do in the winter months. November through February, I'm only coming by once a month, right? And I'm only going to probably just blow off and maybe pick up some sticks. If there's a lot of leaves, I might run the walker over and suck the leaves up. But yeah, you want to enter into that contract in January if you can. That way, if they were to move in, say, April, obviously that would benefit you, And again, I mean, people talk about written contracts, that kind of thing. And I mean, I don't necessarily disagree, but are you going to take somebody to court? You know what I mean? If they don't honor that contract, or if they move, and it's just one of those situations where it is what it is. Maybe you can work out something with the customer to where it'd be equitable, be fair. If you didn't feel like you felt like you were getting screwed over necessarily, maybe you could work something out to where you weren't feeling that way. But I mean, are you really going to take somebody to court if they break the written contract on a $250 a month job, right? I don't think so. So yeah, all of mine are pretty much verbal, that kind of thing, and agreed upon verbally. But I do think if you want to enter into that contract, do it in January. That way you kind of eliminate that risk, because if you do it in January, again, if they were to move or someone passed away in, say, April, May, then you really would benefit. But if they, like in Ray's situation with the customer that passed away recently, it's really going to even yourself out, right? Yeah, no harm, no foul. So yeah, I think that's how you would want to go about it and agree upon it. If you're me, I'm sure a lot of you agree too. But either way, yeah, y'all, that's just my thoughts. I don't want this clip to get too long. We'll get some footage. I've already got some POV footage, and we'll talk more later. Again, about the Kombi systems and what I think might make sense for a homeowner compared to someone like myself and you, a lot of the business owners out there that are doing this. I'll give you my thoughts on each and the various attachments that I've used and that kind of thing. Either way, hope you're doing well. God bless you. Talk soon. Hey guys, I figured give you a quick update real quick and talk about, the whole 12-month contract deal and, some things that I feel like, go with that and why I like them so much. I just got done eating some lunch, by the way. It's about 1:15 now. So Jeff is gonna blow. He's blowing everything off right now. I'm getting ready to spray. I got my tank filled up, or pretty close to being filled up. So I'll be spraying the rest of the day until we quit. I don't know if I'll get it all sprayed or not. We'll see. I may have to come back Sunday because I think they're giving a chance of rain earlier next week. So I'd like to get that pre-emergent down like I mentioned before. get it down before that rain comes in so it can water it into the ground, right? Water it into the soil and activate it. But either way, yeah, we're off to a good start. It's been a month since I mowed this place last, guys. And again, this is a 12-month contract. It's my biggest one, a big apartment complex. I've actually been mowing this place since 2006, almost 20 years now. Can't believe it's been that long. That's when I started going to college at Auburn in 06 and graduated in December of 09. But either way, yeah, y'all, significant amount of money. It's a definite amount that I know I'm gonna be getting, you know, in those slow months in the winter, for sure, which is really nice. And like this particular time, I mean, it needed it. But it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's literally been a month since I mowed it last, right? I think I mowed it the last time was on it was September the 1st, and it's October 3rd now. We've just been having to come by to take care of the trash, the compactor. That's a part of the contract and all that. So we'll probably mow it 1 or 2 times. Yeah, probably another time this month, and then another time in November and December, and we'll just see how it looks in January and February. So we may not even mow it. May just go around like picking up sticks and that kind of thing in January, February, but I'll still be making a significant amount of money, like I said, month in, month out. So that's the big advantage, is these deals. You know you're getting paid good, you know you're gonna get paid. Whether it really needs it or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can just come by, you don't necessarily have to mow the entire place. You can just speed a few things up, so to speak, you know, blow off the curbs. Or if you have a yard, a residential where, you know, you got a contract, like I mentioned before, got a couple of residentials that pay me a decent amount each month that I know are solid. I know are gonna pay me. I know they're not gonna stiff me. You might just show up in the winter and just pick up a few sticks and blow the curbs off, and the driveway and the sidewalks, the porches, you know, that kind of thing. So pretty simple. You do need to make sure you communicate with your customers. Just let them know what you're going to do. That way, like Ray was talking about, he's worried about the customers feeling a certain kind of way. Well, a lot of these people, they don't. If you communicate well with them and they know what you're going to do, and you let them know what's going on, what's going to happen in those winter months, you know, that way they're not surprised. So yeah, a lot of them ain't going to care. A lot of these people that want to do it that way got plenty of money, so they just want somebody they know is going to come and show up and keep their property looking nice. So you don't necessarily have to worry about getting stiff as much as I think Ray likes to talk about a lot of times. At least I don't. The ones that I have, I only got a few I know are going to pay me, so that's something I don't worry about. But either way, y'all, listen, I got to get started. I'll get some POV footage of me spraying just so you can kind of see my technique. Watch my technique, you know, as I spray the area that I'll be spraying. You'll see, but yeah, there is a technique to it. Make sure you're doing it the right way and that kind of thing. So yeah, find it interesting, definitely tune in, and I'll show you. I'll get a quick clip of that, and then we'll talk about the Kombi systems and the advantages I see having used both a gas and a battery powered. I'll give you the advantages and disadvantages and what I think maybe a homeowner would prefer over a commercial guy like myself. But anyway, hope you're doing well, guys. See you soon. Hi guys, hopefully you can hear me on here. I want you to notice how the droplets are fairly uniform. How does that happen? It happens by flicking my wrist. As you can see there, you just want a good uniform coverage on the surface of the ground itself. As you can see, you gotta worry about it being done perfectly. You just want to get a good, consistent coverage. It ain't gonna matter if it's a little more or a little less. You'd prefer it to be a little more, to be honest with you, in terms of solution itself. But you want it to be thick enough to where it's still effective. And I've got a selective in here with a pre-emergent. Like I said before, I'm using spectacle flow and change up with a surfactant. So you can see those weeds, that's the type of weed there, type of broadleaf, not really sure the name of it. But what I have in here will kill all that stuff. So that's good. That's a live oak there. We got quite a few stumps that I'll be able to ground up over here. There's one of them right there. So let's check it out, guys. Pretty fair amount of broadleaves in this little section here, but like I said, this solution will kill them. They would die anyway, but I have to go ahead and put in a selective in there to speed up that process. The cleaner the better. when it comes to turf grass, you don't want a lot of weeds obviously in there. It's gonna be a lot easier to cut too, the cleaner it is. The less weeds, the easier to cut. Y'all remember that. That's why it's so important to be doing treatments. It's a lot of benefits. It looks better, cuts cleaner. You won't have to worry about, when the leaves get thick or the weeds get thick, it clumping and leaving clumps and all that kind of stuff is often. Now the Bermuda, obviously, it will get thick, and zoysia especially, so there are going to be times if you're not cutting as often as you should be. You're going to have clumps, obviously. You might have to bag it up or get the clippings up. Yeah, I'm walking at a good, solid pace. When you're just starting out, you may want to go back and forth. I've been doing it so long, I can go I can spray side to side. I can go walking backwards and spray as I walk backwards forward. It don't really matter. Right now I'm kind of spraying to my side a little bit, and I'm paying attention to the wind because there is a little bit of a mist that will come out, especially if one of these nozzles gets clogged up. You don't want that mist blowing back in my face or in your face. You gotta be spraying. And you see I'm getting a good consistent coverage here. There are some weeds, some chamber bitter. That's called spurge. That's called common spurge. A little bit of nut sedge in there too. This change up is effective. I don't know if it kills it completely, but it will definitely turn it yellow, the nut sedge, especially when it's hot. I've noticed that in January. Let's see here, there's chamber bitter. See that? Looks like a mimosa tree. That's chamber bitter. There's a lot of that in the southeast, turf grass. Again, change up is highly effective against that. I'm trying to get it good and thick to kill that stuff off. Now you got to keep in mind it's been a while since I've done a pre-emergent here, so yeah, there are a little more weeds in certain sections that I'd like to see, but this will knock it out, especially as we get into the fall, get that first frost. That frost will definitely kill these weeds off, but obviously having the selective, like I said before, it'll knock them out. That way I ain't got to worry about the frost getting them. Either way, guys, yeah, hopefully y'all can hear me good. Just gonna turn it off. It's about to be out of battery. Hope you're doing well. Hey guys, it's Chad. I'm back. Saturday evening right now. I figured go ahead and do a quick clip talking about the Kombi systems. I mentioned before I got a lot of experience with both the gas, which I used for years before I switched over to the battery powered Kombi, and been very happy. I've had this steel battery powered Kombi here going on 3 years now, and very impressed with it. The battery is maintaining that charge. You can still recharge it. It recharges very fast. It only takes it maybe 10 minutes to recharge it using the charger, obviously, that comes with the purchase of the Kombi system itself. It comes with one battery, and I had to buy the second one separately. Obviously not cheap, the battery. I can't remember what it cost, but pretty expensive to be honest with you. And frankly, if you're going to use it extensively throughout the day, I would say go ahead and have multiple batteries. You might even want to carry the charger with you, especially if you're a lawn service provider like myself. Now, for a homeowner, which I think these are great for, because frankly, you can buy the various attachments that you would need for your yard, especially if it's a smaller yard. I would say a battery, this system right here, is great to use. And this is more of the higher end power system, at least when I bought it. Obviously you can get a lower level one that probably don't last as long and have the power and the torque that this one has, but that's what I was recommended to buy, given that I do this commercially and that kind of thing. So yeah, homeowners, guys, I think this is a great thing for you to buy. Now, whether you want a gas or battery powered, it really depends on how much you use it. if you feel like you're going to be using it a full day with various attachments, I would say go with a gas, unless you just don't like fooling with gas, which typically, honestly, I really don't like fooling with it. If I could do away with not worrying about gas and using gas, I would do that. I'm sure a lot of homeowners would say the same thing. So yeah, I would say, I mean, especially if you got a smaller yard, that you can be fine using the battery power for sure, especially if I am. Of course, I don't use the various attachments very often. This edger here uses a lot of power, so I really don't use it a lot. The bed definer here, same thing. I really don't use that very much unless the customer, asks me to, define those beds and dig out that trench along the bed there, between the grass and the mulch or straw bed. I'll use it sporadically. It does a great job, but it uses a ton of power. So yeah, I find myself mainly using the hedge trimmer attachment. This one here, the short one, and I've got the articulating one that I can use to get some taller bushes, and the head will swivel at different angles. So those are the main attachments that I use personally, and they really don't use a lot of power. So that's why I prefer to use the battery, given the fact that it doesn't use a whole lot of power and I'm not using a whole lot. And I mean, honestly, if I know I'm going to use it a lot, I can just carry the charger with me and charge it up at the customer's house if I need to. But using the hedge trimmer specifically, one battery, let's push this button, that tells you how much power you got left in the battery. Right now it's full charge, and it just goes down from there, to give you an idea of how much power. But yeah, the battery lasts a long time for the hedge trimmer attachments. The weed eater head, I used to have a weed eater head, didn't really last a long time at all. Same, like I said, for the edger and the bed definer. And I used to use this blower occasionally, but it kind of messed up. I really don't use it a lot, but it uses not quite as much as the bed definer and the edger, but a little more than the hedge trimmer. But you can get a good bit of run time with the blower itself there, which was pretty good before it tore up on me. So I really don't use it anymore. But yeah, y'all, I love the battery. I love the battery powered system. Like I said, not worrying about fooling with the gas. And again, I don't use it extensively. I've got dedicated string trimmers, which I think most of you that do this for a living would agree. You want to have a dedicated string trimmer, dedicated edger if you're really going to be using it a lot throughout the day, especially if you're going to be using a battery one. Now, if you want to use it a lot throughout the day, I would say use a gas. I think gas would make more sense. You just don't want to find yourself, obviously having to worry about the battery power going down and replacing those batteries constantly, and worrying about having to charge them. You could always carry more batteries with you if you wanted to, but I don't think that's an ideal scenario either. But yeah, if you're going to be using it a lot, I think gas makes more sense, you know what I mean, as opposed to the battery. But if you're like me, you only use a couple attachments, specifically the hedge trimmer attachments, which I think are great for it. I think you're good using the battery powered Kombi system itself. Battery lasts a long time, especially with the hedge trimmer attachment, like I said before. And you can, like I said, you can tell how much power is in it, and it charges fairly fast. It takes about 10 minutes for this battery to charge up on the charger, so that's good. But either way, yeah, y'all, trying to think anything else I was going to mention, but I think that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Again, I think a great tool for a homeowner, especially if you have a smaller yard. You can buy the various attachments that you would need. You wouldn't have to necessarily worry about the battery running down as much as, say, I would, being a lawn service provider. You could easily just charge it up if you needed to do some more edging or weed eating or whatever, that sort of thing. But yeah, y'all, let me know what you think. Hopefully that's helpful to you in terms of what you may need. Again, I love the battery powered one. I had the gas powered for years. Bought this 3 years ago. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, y'all, let me know in the comments what you think. Any questions, comments, whatever it may be, add to the discussion. Let me know something. I'm always learning from you as well. So yeah, let me know something I don't know in terms of maybe a new system that's out there, a different brand that may be really good. Let me know what you think. Hope this is helpful. God bless. See you soon.